My name is John Arnold Cernas, and I'm going to report about Chapter 16. The title is Integrated Marketing Communications and International Advertising. So, let's have an introduction first. Integrated marketing communications are composed of advertising, sales promotion, trade shows, personal selling, direct selling, and public relations. For most companies, advertising and personal selling are the major components in the marketing. So, we all know that advertising is an important tool of promoting a product or services. It is like the action of calling public attention, and on the other hand, personal selling occurs when a sales representative meets a what you call this a potential client for the purpose of transacting a sale. So I think being a sales representative or doing personal selling can be a complicated job, especially when dealing with the unpredictability of human preference and behavior. We can also consider the culture or some of those geographical factors since we are talking about international marketing. So there's a lot of differences. So being a sales representative for me is not an easy job. Excuse me. Alright, so next is sales promotion in international markets. Marketing activities stimulate consumer purchases and improve retailer or middleman effectiveness and cooperation. So, marketing activities will help the middleman or the retailers in doing sales or in doing their job more easier. So, short-term efforts directed to the consumer or retailer to achieve specific objectives. In markets with media limitations, the percentage of the promotions may have to be increased, or you can do also product sampling. A sales promotions in international markets plays an important role in the international marketing campaign. As companies expand into international markets, salesmen or marketers or sales representative usually rely on the same tools that serve them well in the domestic market. Um, Sales representative needs to adjust if they're going to have a sales promotion in international market because there's a lot of difference about the marketing strategies that you're using on your domestic market and the marketing strategies that you're going to use abroad or internationally. However, some sales promotions may not work in foreign markets because of host countries' differences. So, host host country differences, those are cultures, geographical factors, etc. So, marketers use sales promotions to achieve a variety of short-term objectives, and it includes a lot of things. First is introducing new product and services to get new customers or getting those existing customers to stock up. So let's have the next. International public relations. And international public relations will create good relationship with the popular press and other media, global workplace standards, building an international profile, corporate sponsorships. According to what I found from the internet, there was an association that is called IPRA or IPRA. It means International Public Relations Associations. It was established last 1955, but I don't know if it is still present today. Let's go back to international. International public relations. It is more complex because companies or the sales representatives are often dealing with different segments or media, different kind of customers, different level of competitions. International advertising. An international advertising performs marketing research, specify the goals of the communication, develop the most effective message for the market segment selected, select effective media, compose and secure a budget, execute campaign relative to the goals specified. International marketing is like the extension of an organization's product or services into another country. Next, so advertising strategy and goals. Um, uh, Under advertising strategy and goals, there are marketing problems, increased need for more sophisticated advertising strategies, balance between standardization of advertising themes and customization or different consumer cultures. Advertising strategies are essential campaigns and tools that can determine if a business will succeed or fail in their sales. And advertising strategy is like an overall plan for a particular advertising campaign. Marketing problems for me. If you're doing an advertising campaign, you badly need to do a very careful research, a marketing research to be exact. Your advertisement must be thoughtful and also creative. But before doing an advertisement in another country or in the international market, you need to consider a lot of factors like geographical factors or their cultures, their beliefs. You need to have a research for those kind of things. So last is product attributes and benefit segmentation. Different cultures usually agree on the benefit, the primary function of a product or service. Other features and psychological attributes of the item can have significant differences. Let's talk about benefit segmentation. Yeah, it is a technique that segments, or in other words, it will divide the customers on the basis of desired or sought benefits. So that's it for my report. And the next slide, regional segmentation will be reported by Neil Molde. Thank you.
Hello guys, I'm Nel Muldi. So I'm going to continue the discussion about integrated marketing and marketing communication and international advertising. So in regional segmentation, pan-European communication media highlights need for more standards promotional efforts, cost savings with a common theme in uniform promotional packaging and design, legal restrictions slowly being eliminated. In regional segmentation or regional market segmentation is the process of subdividing geographic markets into specific grouping due to perceived market similarities or to facilitate operation. Next is legal constraints. So the legal constraints are laws that control of comparative advertising. Comparative advertising is referred to the type of advertising where companies directly compare themselves with their competitors in the actual ad itself. So are legal laws that control the media sector, and it's important that these laws are followed or you could be fined and investigated by the police. Legal constraints are laws that have to be followed and taken into consideration or else risk negative repercussions. So legal constraint in other country, this is not legal in all countries and must therefore be considered when creating a standardized advertisement. So actually mga good guys is uh, I don't know if all government is same process, uh, because the government in the other country is controlled allowed TV networks. So naa sila in, if imuhang advertising is naagi siya kanang minutes nga ihatag ba, dili kay one advertisement is mukabat siya how many how many hours in the television. So naagi siya limitasyon. Next is linguistic limitation. In linguistic limitation, language is one of the major barriers to effective communication through advertising. So the problems is involves different language of different countries, different language or dialects within one country, and the subtler problems of linguistic nuance, argument style, vernacular, and even accent. Actually, language is very problem problemado kayo pagdating sa advertisement. So in addition to translation challenges, low literacy in many countries seriously impedes communication and calls for greater creativity and use of verbal media. Multiple languages in a country or advertising are pose another problem for the advertiser. So in international advertising, translating an advertisement in another language might not be effective, or in some instance might be offensive. So okay, next, so in cultural diversity, the problem associated with communicating to people in diverse culture present one of the great creative challenges in advertising. So cultural diversity, so in cultural diversity means communication is difficult because cultural factors largely determine the way various phenomena are perceived. Next is the media limitation and production and cost limitation. So in media limitation are discussed at length later. So where we not only the limitation on creative strategy imposed by media may diminish the role of advertising in the promotional program and force marketers to emphasize other elements of the promotional mix. So in commercial media, so in international advertising is another effective effect on international advertisement. So media might be reduced to reduce the effects of advertising set of land and might push the firms to underline the other aspects of promotional. And in production and cost limitation is creativity, especially important when a budget is small or where there are several production limitation. Example, for quality printing, lack of high grade paper. Um, so then low cost reproduction in small markets poses a problem in many countries. In many countries. So next is actually in media planning and analysis. So your authors notice it because the change that occur between the 2 year revision of this textbook are the greatest when it comes to media. So in media planning and analysis, so um, in special media problems in the confront the international advertiser is basically the same in every country, but availability, cost, and coverage varies a lot from country to country. This is me. So for the tactical consideration, although nearly every sizable nation essentially has the same kinds of media, a number of specific consideration problems of differences are encountered from one nation to another. So next is the campaign execution and advertisement agency. Manage advertising agency. So is the development of advertising campaigns under execution are managed by advertising agency. So in a local in a local domestic agency may provide a company with the best cultural interpretation in situation in which local modification is uh, modification is out. So the best company owned local domestic agency. So like I said, so company owned agency, but the best compromise is a multinational agency with local branches because it has the sophistication of a major agency with local representation. Compensation arrangement for advertising agencies throughout the world are commonly 15% commission. So some companies are moving from the commission system to a reward by result system, which details remuneration terms at the outset. So in international, so next is the last is the international control of advertising, broader issue. So consumer criticism, deceptive advertising, dissent and blatant abuse of sex, self regulation, government regulation. So in a previous section, specific legal restriction of advertising were presented a broader issue related to the past, present, and future of the international regulation of advertising. So for consumer criticism of advertising are not phenomenon of the US market only. Consumer concern with the standards, believability of advertising may have spread around the world more swiftly than have many marketing techniques. Deception in advertising is a thorny issue because most member countries have different interpretation of what constitutes a misleading advertisement. Decency of the blatant use of sex in advertisement also are receiving public attention. Then one of the problems in controlling decency and sex in ads is the cultural variation found around the world. And then the difficulty that business has with self-regulation. Our restrictive laws is that sex can be powerful in some types of advertisements. So in government regulation, um, is a law that controls the way that business can operate or all of these laws considered together. So the purpose of government regulation of business or in international advertisement, example the Philippines. So here in the Philippines, the government has set many business regulation in place to protect employees' right, protect the environment, and hold corporation accountable for the amount of power they have in a very business driven society. So so in international advertising, so in integrated marketing, communication, and international advertising, all of the elements of the marketing mix decision involving advertising are the ones most often affected by cultural differences among country markets. The consumer reflect their culture, so its style, feelings, values, system, attitude, beliefs, and perception. So, since advertising function is to interpret or translate the need one satisfying qualities of product and service in terms of consumer needs, consumer wants, desires, and aspiration, the this limitation this limitation must all be dealt if a company is to have an effective advertisement. That's all, and thank you.